15 weeks ago, I was asked a question that I really didn't understand. My professor looked around at the class and said, "Are you a consumer or a producer of technology?" I thought to myself, I'm a consumer, of course. Well, a lot can change in 15 weeks, and while I will always consider myself a consumer, I now realize that I'm a very capable producer as well. I started this course having to create a digital oral history along with a prezi. I had seen prezis before, but I had never created one, so this should be interesting, I thought. For a first attempt, it wasn't terrible, but as my abilities with prezi have grown throughout this course, I now have the experience to incorporate additional features and effects to make it more engaging if the time allowed it. While struggling to create the digital oral history, I learned that I needed to edit videos and add them into the prezi. I wasn't even sure how I would accomplish this. I don't have a smartphone or an iPad, and my video camera is somewhat outdated. How would I create a video and get it onto my computer? So I borrowed an iPad and created videos and experienced my first of many breakdowns along my journey. When I uploaded the videos to YouTube, they were split into video segments, which I now had to edit back together. What a sense of accomplishment I had when I finally completed it. Hi, I'm conducting an interview on how technology has affected you with all the advances that we've seen over the years. What is your name? And you're how old?
42.
And you've probably begun using technology in the last 15, 20 years?
Yes.
Do you enjoy learning new technology?
I love technology.
Hi, I'm conducting an interview to find out about digital technology and how it affects students in the classroom. And what's your name?
Krista Alexander.
Okay, and what is your occupation?
I teach first grade.
Okay, so do you see with first graders, you've been teaching for 10 years?
10 years in first grade.
Okay, and 10 years ago, do you see a difference from then till now with how kids are advanced technologically?
Absolutely.
Do you think that it affects their learning?
I do, in both positive and negative ways. That's kind of, they can do a lot more. They know how to go on the internet and find games and play, and they can, piece words together with the games, but they can't cut and paste. Or we used to do a lot of crafts with like popsicle sticks, and they could cut out the letters and glue them to the popsicle sticks, and then like so many of the hand-eye coordination things on that they can't do. Just
Hi, I'm conducting an interview on how technology affects your life, and what is your name,
Kelly Alexander.
and how old are you?
I will be 12 in October.
Okay, and have you always been around technology since you were very little? Have you always used computers and iPods and laptops?
Well, I played games on a computer when I was little because I wasn't really capable of doing all the older kind of game stuff in technology.
But you've grown up with technology. It's always been around you.
Yes.
Okay, and do you think that it's easier to use technology than to...
Yes.
Do you think it's more interesting to learn that way?
Yes.
Do you find it more stimulating in a classroom to learn using presentations and computers and smart boards than strictly books and whiteboards?
Yes.
Looking back, I would probably refine my interviewing skills and try to get more definitive answers from the people I spoke with, but inexperience and nerves definitely played a part here. Many weeks later, I experienced yet another breakdown when I realized I was supposed to have a video of myself in there as well. Only this time, with all of my acquired experience of the past 15 weeks, I quickly turned my failure into success since I had recently purchased an iPhone for my daughter, so I was able to make a video on her phone and upload it directly to YouTube. When I try to think of myself as either a digital immigrant or a digital native, I would probably tend to think of myself as a digital immigrant. I obviously didn't grow up revolve around the technology. However, I've adapted really well. I've always liked learning new things. I do get frustrated fairly easy, but I've learned how to use so many different technologies. I think school has been key in showing me how to use different technologies and really adapting to them and really finding how useful they could be, especially because I want to be a teacher. I think it's really important to stay focused on what's new and what the kids are interested in, because that's how they're going to like learning best. I added it to my digital oral history, so now it's all good. Now on to the Twitteriv. Just the name makes me nervous. So I was told that we have to tweet maxims, and all I was thinking is, what is a maxim? Oh yeah, and how do I tweet? Here comes another breakdown. I began my Twitteriv thinking I would write about an incident that took place at one of my daughter's soccer games, but as I look back through my tweets, I realized a pattern I was seeing of growing frustration and insecurity in both my educational path and my prospects of finding a job upon completion, all while compiling a mountain of debt to pay for my education. I realized that to overcome my fears and frustrations, I would have to face them head on in my Twitteriv. We had to come up with a repetend, which I learned is a repeating word or phrase to emphasize the focus of the Twitteriv. I chose the balance scale for my repetend because it best represented the struggle I was facing trying to create a balance between family, school, and work. In the end, I feel that I created an informative and engaging piece of writing by incorporating pictures, videos, lists, links, prezis, tweets, and even a short play in my Twitteriv. I realized as I proudly reviewed my finished product, which came out of utter confusion, that I had just employed core value 6, and that in this case the impact the technology had was on my sense of success in overcoming my fears and producing a technology-driven piece of creative writing. Weeks later, I would prepare a prologue to emphasize the accomplishments I made in creating this multi-genre piece of writing and create a connection to the core values for writing arts students. I did not realize at the time that my prologue was actually a preparation for my most comprehensive and inclusive piece that I am now creating, the cover memo. Oh yeah, my Twitteriv is complete. But sadly, there's more. Now I have to work in a group and create a collaborative project. I have not had great success with any group projects in the past because I tend to be a bit of a control freak and my grades are very important to me. So I was not really looking forward to the group work, but I got a nice group of girls and in the end it all worked out okay. We had to take turns blogging and respond to each other's blogs. Here comes another breakdown. While we all work together pretty well, there always seems to be one person who can't get on board and carry their weight. If I can work, go to school, and manage a household, surely you can attempt to respond to a blog in a timely manner, can't you? We researched a YouTube video on smoking cessation device known as the e-cigarette.
A lot of people trying to quit smoking, and one of the things they're turning to is something known as the e-cig, electronic cigarette. Best way to demonstrate this, actually show you this. I'm not going to smoke on it, but basically what happens here is that there's a battery inside this. It has a nicotine vapor. You smoke on this, you get a little bit of the nicotine, and you get a little bit of the smoke as well. There's some pictures of it there. This is becoming quite popular. Melissa, it costs about $100, and you get several cartridges with this, a charger. You can basically smoke on this, even charge it up wherever you are. And it costs about $100. So, it's not cheap. Thousands of these being sold in kiosks and malls. A couple of concerns about this already starting to come up. First of all, one question I find sort of interesting, is this a device or is this a drug? If it's a drug, the FDA has to approve it. It's a little bit hazy when it comes to that. Also, it's never really been tested in humans. They use nicotine in patches, they use it in gums, but not inhaled before. So, what exactly?
We created a conversation based on the content of the video, each taking a different position in an attempt to generate dialogue outside the group. We actually had pretty good success with this and were able to elicit outside responses from non-participants who wanted to argue against some points we had brought up. I realized that through our exchanges initiated by our blogging while creating our controlling values and in starting a controversial discussion through YouTube, I was employing the rhetorical adaptability discussed in Core Value 1. As we continued on our path as a group, we were instructed to find a topic to research on Wikipedia which requires further citation, so we decided on internet fraud. We collectively came up with controlling values defining our positions on the topic. We individually researched the topic. We created our own annotated bibliography highlighting our research. And we each made a thoughtful contribution to the wiki site coinciding with our topic. Oh, and I almost forgot. We had to present our work in yet another genre to showcase our group work. We chose WordPress. Wow, this is a lot of work. I feel a big breakdown coming on now. On the upside, while doing all of this research and evaluating the various materials I compiled, I was actually participating in Core Value 4 without even really being aware of it. Finally, the light at the end of the tunnel, the cover memo. We must create a cover memo to tie all of our efforts into a nicely wrapped package displaying all of the hard work we created over the last 15 weeks and present it to our instructor. I decided to create a screencast since I had some luck with it in another class, and I thought it was an effective way to represent the work using multiple genres of writing. It took many hours to put this together since I first had to create the prezi and add the different elements I wanted to showcase. Once I had everything in place and the path set for the prezi, I walked myself through it and created the narrative. After completing the narrative, I used Screencast to put the prezi and the narrative together in order to walk my audience through my presentation and explain my journey. Unfortunately, I did experience one last breakdown during this process. I finished my screencast and thought it was pretty good, but I was having trouble getting it to load into my Weebly. It was 4:30 in the morning, and I was tired and really wanted to be done with it and just send the email saying it was complete. But I thought, let's just wait and look it over in the morning. When I looked at it again, I realized that there were key elements that I did not thoroughly explain, and I really needed to do it again. So as much as I did not want to re-record this, I didn't want to turn something in that I felt was not up to my standards. So here's the final product. I can now say that I am proud of what I have achieved, and I am confident that I have created an effective representation of my work. Wait a minute, I created this. I have evolved in just 15 short weeks into what I would like to now refer to myself as a prosumer. Because while I will always be a consumer, I now understand that I am fully capable of being a producer as well. So while I spent all of this time overanalyzing all of my efforts, feeling like they were not going to be up to par with my classmates, I realize now that it's just part of the process of Core Value 5, and I should value the amazing accomplishments I have made and the success I have achieved in creating a multi-genre, interactive, technology-driven writing extravaganza. I hope you enjoy my site, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for a very eye-opening, stressful, sleep-deprived 15 weeks. It was quite an experience, and I really did learn a lot. I'm just hoping evaluating writing isn't this stressful. Enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you in a few weeks.